Hi guys, it's Jean again. So let me just put a little disclaimer out there. It is really hot in Pennsylvania today. I think it was supposed to get up to 102. I haven't really checked it. But what I'm doing today is I still have my sanding block, I think. Where did I put it? I hope I still have it somewhere here. Don't think I moved it. Oh well, I will find it in a second. But if you've never looked at Victoria magazine, it's a beautiful, beautiful magazine. And it's actually one of those ones that you really don't even want to cut up. But honestly, I look at it this way. They can sit there and collect dust, and we can look at them every once in a while for inspiration. But how often do we really do that, right? So I bought these off eBay because there's a really funny story. When I lived in my other house, I had this big, huge closet where I kept all of my crafting supplies. And sadly, I was not neat there either. But my husband kept saying, what are you going to do with all your magazines? And I had a friend who worked in the different stores stocking the magazines. So if she would get any cool ones that she thought I would like Somerset Studio or cloth paper scissors, she would save them for me. She just had to tear the cover off of them, and I'm like, I'm okay with that. So she would save them, and I would look at them, and I had one or two that were my favorites that I looked at often, but for the most part, I just had them there taking up space. Little did I know I could have gone through them and used them for other things. But when I cleaned the magazines out, I was pretty much in a place where I didn't do very much art. The only kind of art that I really did, if you want to call it art, it was more crafting, is if someone wanted something done for a party or decorations for something, and I do those. But for me to actually do what I loved, there was a great gap in there. And it could have been just because, you know, my kids were into a lot of things. But anyway, I ended up taking all of my magazines and giving them to my friend, and she loved them. So they were loved even though I gave them away. Now this is a very beautiful, beautiful piece that I think I will use in the future. But what I'm looking for today, and what I'm feeling today, is this is beautiful, isn't it? Is not really, I'm not really in a festive mood. I'm not really in a like super out there happy mood. This is pretty. Let me see what's on the other side. Okay, nothing I would keep. So actually, I'm just going to see if I can tear. I'm not good at tearing magazine images out and not ripping what I don't want to rip. Ah, the fan's blowing. As long as I'm doing still things, I don't get too hot. So I want to save this Edelweiss so I can put it on my journal that I was working on yesterday. I'm just kind of looking at things to see what speak to me today, because I don't really know. Oh, these are gorgeous. These are really gorgeous, aren't they? One thing about the heat that is kind of sad is that it really it dries things up. It makes them wither, and it makes them crumbly. I don't really like that feeling. Oh, look at the bicycle. That's so cute. I didn't even know these had people in them, but that's... Okay, so what I'm looking for, I think, rather than roses, is I'm looking for some lilacs. And I thought I saw them in here, but they may be in the other one I have, because this one pretty much has peonies and... peonies. I don't know how you all say it. Peonies or peonies. Hearts of England, it might be in here. So my heritage is pretty much Scottish and Irish. And I know some, you know, bits and pieces about it, but not as much as I'd like. I would love to go visit the Scottish Highlands, just to see what it's like and the beauty of the countryside. But I can't find my lilacs now. That is ridiculous. Is this Victoria? Yeah, okay. I don't know if I have another Victoria. I don't think. And I don't think I pulled them out. But that's okay, we can do something else. Let's just see if they're in here real quick. I didn't think they were in here with the peonies. Peonies, roses are so beautiful too. Okay, I will look for them. We can do something else for today. So yesterday I worked on this one a little bit more, and actually what I did is on one of the pieces that I had sanded, I took a part of it off. I believe it was the part of the window. And what I did with that is I actually pasted that down with my gel medium. And then I found some images on the back cover of one of the magazines that were blue. And you remember I had dripped some blue on here. And then I wanted to kind of break up the blending here, so I put in some white, and then I also went over some of the edges of the flower with some white pencil, and I entitled this "And That's Why They Call It the Blues." So I really love how this magazine image transferred into, or I didn't transfer it on. I used gel medium, but what I mean is how it incorporated so well into the page. So that's what I like to do, is I like to create from something that makes me feel what I'm doing. So I need, give me 1 second. I don't know what in the world happened. Oh, here's my stencil. Where did my sanding block go? Okay, that's okay, because I think today with the purple, I don't know that I'm exactly in a purple mood today. I think what I want to do, because this is like a 2-page spread, is, I don't know what fell, is I want to create something that kind of resembles the beach or the ocean. When I was younger, we used to spend a lot of time at the beach, and I remember the first time I took my daughter and how much she loved it, and how beautiful blues and the white against the the sand. Now, when we would go to the beach, we would go in Central Florida, and when I grew up, I went on a cruise and I was able to go to Bermuda, and oh, the colors there are amazing. So what I'm going to do is I want to create, first of all, I got these watercolors, and I thought this color here might be interesting. So let me see if I can get my brushes without knocking the whole world down here. I think it came with one, but okay. My brush jar is not the best. I need to clean it again. So I just want to, these are supposed to be metallic, and I think this will be cool. I just want to go in here, and I just want to put something that kind of looks like sand. Let me make sure you all can see. I just want to make something that kind of, you know, resembles sand of some sort. Because I think right now, today, what I need for my person, because of the heat and, you know, the things going on, not anything that's terrible, not anything that's necessarily worrisome in the family or anything, just things that I think about that I like how that looks. And I don't know that this is, maybe this doesn't look very metallic. So I like how that looks. Let me go. I don't like this brush though. It's pretty crappy. That one's too big. I'm just going to use this one because I want to get down here on these edges. And that looks better. And I think I'm going to add in some of this. I don't know if it's a gray or a white, or if it'll even show. It doesn't look like it does. Maybe some of the brown. Okay. I wanted to get. Now I don't know how you all feel, but sometimes for me, a 2-page spread is like an ominous thing, because I'm thinking I can't do something that's that big, you know. And I'm not very good at creating depth, if you know what I mean. So for example, if this is my sand, this is what I use as my sand, and then I decide that I want to start with some crashing waves, you know, I don't know how to make it look layered or the depth come through, but we'll try. We'll see. This is kind of experimenting with our fears. Now, as a mixed media artist, we often use things that are kind of unconventional, or add things to our art that we wouldn't normally add. And I'm debating on this, if I want to add all of the, I'm going to take the, actually didn't want it to look like that either. Let's see what I can do with it. So when you adhere something like this, you can use your Mod Podge, you can use your gel medium, and sometimes you don't want it to be completely covered. You just kind of want to have some of it, you know, working for you texturally, so you leave some of it kind of loose, if you know what I mean. You don't have to put it all down flat. Okay. Use a little bit bigger brush for this, so I know how much coverage I'm getting. So this is a piece of, these are pieces from an doily that just kind of, when I was looking at it, it started to really shred on its own. So some of these doilies are pretty old, but I love using the different laces, even though they're torn apart, in my projects. So I need to have, I shouldn't say this because it's so hot out, but if my husband heard me using a heat gun, he'd probably pass out. But I was thinking I needed him to get my heat gun out of the attic for me. It's probably an oven up there. Oh, I don't even want to think about it. So I wanted to do that and to see how that kind of goes together there. I might take this piece and put it on here. And I think these, I think these will kind of represent some of the dunes. I'm gonna make them go up a little bit. And I think that looks really interesting. Now, I obviously need to put a little bit more sand in here, but where it's under the dune part, I think I'm going to go like a little bit, just a little bit darker because it's shaded. Yeah, I like the copper much better than the brown. And it doesn't show really a whole lot because the gel medium's not dry. But I'll go over it again then when the gel medium's dry. What the heck? My pencil, okay. I have the smallest paintbrush in the world. That's funny. So this is I love this. And I love the copper. Oops, that might be a little bit too much. To water that out some. I cannot, for the life of me, find my spray bottles. I don't know why. I was going to try to hook up one to like my Aquafina bottle and see if it worked. I can't even find an empty one to do that. So tomorrow I'm going to have to send my husband on a hunt. That looks really, really, really good. Now let me I don't know if I'm going to use these again, but I do want to tell you, I got a set. This set came from Temu, and I think I paid $5 for it. And it works just fine. And I don't know why any watercolor set would not work fine, no matter where you got it. But, what was I gonna say? My one that I got from Amazon was really good too. And it had, lots of colors, and I still use it. I just wanted to try that one because it was new. Okay, I will lay my tiny brush over here and get some water for it. Okay, so we have this. Now I'm going to do some things with the background. Now I wanted, because it's feeling so hot, I'm going to just try a tiny bit of this red and see if I like it. And you guys can tell me what you think. And what I'm doing, I don't know how many of you have made art this way, but this is called the smooshing method. And then I'm going to take some of my water and I'm just going to drip it on there because I want it to be damp whenever I press it onto the page. Now I did not decide to use the bubble paper this time. I like how the bubble imprint is, but it's not my favorite thing. So here is a smooshing background. You can see how cool that is. And then you want to wipe off whatever. This is just a little bit of packaging that I had left over. First time well, I shouldn't say that. I found value with packaging before. But even the shape of this kind of gives you a sense of fire, doesn't it? The air. I'm going to come in and I'm going to, let's see how big my page is, not very big. So I want to use a piece of remember the slaw? It has a real red texture here. So I want to use some of it. And let me see where my scissors are. I want to cut this so it doesn't rip. But we did a really cool palm tree yesterday. And I want to put that on it too. Kind of in the background. We'll be stamping over it, but it'll still kind of show. I'm not like a big tropical theme guy, but person. But I did love the colors in this, so I think it'll lend to what we're trying to do today. Okay, there I have my tree. Okay. All right. And so I want my tree, I'm going to tear him out a little bit more. And there's different ways of tearing. Now, if this were tissue paper, you could wet like the area you wanted to tear. You might be able to do this with the paper, the magazine paper, if you've sanded it thin enough. But I haven't tried it yet. I just basically want it to the point where it looks more organic and doesn't look like I cut it out with the scissors, is what I'm trying to get here. So let me go in here where these edges are and tear them off. I might have to cut some off anyway, depending on how I position this. Okay. Now, I want you to remember that when you do your deglossing technique, you don't have to remember what the image was below it and use that particular image. You know, you can degloss it to the point that you don't even know what's there. So don't worry if you get to the point where you're thinking, oh my goodness, I can't even tell what's on this page. On my last video, and now I can't remember the lady's name again, but I will link her down below. And there was another young girl that was showing a technique that I really liked. I linked them on my last video. They showed their deglossing technique, but I haven't found any videos where people have, unless I just missed them, where people have actually used their fodder this way. E fora and then moro. Okay, so I'm going to just put this down. And it's funny, my husband took my son to the beach. He was like, oh yeah, I want to go to the beach, I want to go to the beach. And our friends have a beach, he has a beach house somewhere in the Carolinas, and took him. And he didn't really like it. I was surprised. It may have just been the atmosphere there, because it was I think it was a Memorial Day weekend or something, and people were being really loud, and that's not my son's thing at all. So this, I kind of just want to put, I just kind of want to put it in the middle, I think, so that both sides gets some of it. What is this right here? I don't want that. Sometime I was thinking about Elton John. I grew up on Elton John. My brother is 11 years older than me, and I remember him playing Benny and the Jets when I was just a kid, and I loved that song. He's one of the oldies but goodies. Some people nowadays don't really care for him, or, you know, because of his lifestyle, but, you know, the way I look at it is there are a lot of people in this world that have a lot of different lifestyles that we don't even know about. Okay, so now what I need to do is I just need to let this dry that I've put on with the, put a little bit more gel medium down here. With the gel medium. And then what I'm going to do is let some, I'm going to make this a little bit darker, and we'll do some more smooshes, and we'll do some stamping. Let's see, what other color would go well with red? Go well with red. This rusty hinge would probably go good. Oh. No, I just saw my circle thingamabob. Heck, I'll just use washi tape. So then you can go ahead and put other elements on it if you want to. Now all my washi tape will come out orange. That's okay. This is kind of a neat technique because it kind of reminds me of my coffee, kind of, you know, picking it up, sitting it down, picking it up, sitting it down, which I do every day for 100 times because I really enjoy coffee. Let me just hang this out. Okay, I got my archival ink out while I'm letting this dry, and I want to show you how you can stamp right on your stamp right on tissue paper. Now this is not exactly tissue, this is more like parchment, but it's light enough to do the same thing. You can stamp right on your parchment paper, and then you can tear it and put it on your piece wherever you want to. Also, it's good to have your parchment paper available. For example, when I made those marks, if there was any more ink on there, I could have twisted it around. You see how the orange is coming off? I didn't mean for it to smear that, but you see how the orange is coming off now? So when you use one of your tools to make an imprint on your actual piece, you then have your tissue paper or your tea bag or whatever you have ready to work with. So now I don't want that one under there. What's happening here? Okay. So now that we have these colors, we have a little bit of green and some orange and some yellow. So I want to take, where's my bucket? Here's my bucket, which has all these extra things in it. So I want to take my crayon and I want to just go over it, go over this green a little bit. so that you can tell that it's kind of a palm tree here, but not so much. So that gives it a little bit of green in the picture. You can smudge these. I think they work well with water. I haven't really tried them that way, but I just wanted a little bit of green in there. And then I think I'm gonna take some blue and squish it on. I don't want to use a blue that we've used before, and I don't want to put it on the way we normally would, you know, let it run. I'm going to see if I can find the stencil I want. Not all my stencils are in the same place, so bear with me here. No, both not. Okay. So we'll just use this method. Now these are distress oxides, and when you use them, you can see just by the paper, on the actual paper, that it's a little bit more opaque than the red was. And I'm only going to use this, if I can get away with it, in a couple places, because I don't want a whole lot of crazy blue, because we just did blue, right? Okay, so there we have some blue for our sky. And now I'm going to take just a little bit. This is metallic. It doesn't say, it's like a sapphire. It's an acrylic. And I'm gonna just take it with my small paintbrush here. And I'm just going to go above this, just painting here, here, just above, and then I'm gonna let that dry, and then we'll add some white caps to it. I don't know. Okay, I'm also going to add some script. The only thing I'm missing is a parrot or a boat. Okay. Now I'm going to try to do this while the blue shouldn't take very long to dry. just put my hand in that blue. That's just fabulous. So I think one of the things that this piece has done is it has evolved on its own. And it has shown me that you do not always have in life the option to go one way or the other. Sometimes it's very rocky. So you may not be able to envision that at this moment because I need to further draw the boat, but with life in general, you don't always, sometimes you have rocky periods where you don't know if you're going toward the storm or toward the paradise. And, you know, when I say I'm looking for a calmness in the beach, you know, the beach is one of the calmest places, but it's also one of the most tumultuous places you can be. So I think that this piece kind of evolved on its own, with the colors, with the design, the way it's outlined, and very cool interpretation of kind of the way my life is right now, where some days it's bright and sunny and I'm going toward the beach with the palm trees and coconuts and the reggae music. And then other days I feel like I'm heading into a storm, that I can't control the things that are happening in my life. So sitting down and just doing something, just doing something will help you determine what's going on, what's happening. So to me, this was a very good exercise in letting things evolve, because I told you I was looking for calmness, and I thought of the sea being calm and my daughter being there and loving it, but yet my son not. So it was a two-sided coin there. So I'm going to develop this a little bit more with the boat, and then when I come back to do my next page, I will show you, and hopefully by then I will have found my lilacs. So thank you so much. I'm going to find a quote for this. The quotes I'm using for this are going to be pretty much song lyrics, so you'll have to put up with me with that. So And this was not going to be row, row, row your boat either. So I will see you all soon. Thank you so much for watching, and bye for now.